Today I'm holding the Saucony Endorphin collection. It's a series of 3 shoes that are really meant to address the fastest days of your racing and training. Now, if we backtrack a little bit to 2017 when Nike launched its Vaporfly 4%, they added a carbon fiber plate and some new, really lightweight and springy foam into their shoe and really changed the game of running shoes. And everybody's been catching up ever since. Everybody's working on versions and they have varying levels of success for runners. The Endorphin is really probably the closest approximation of that shoe we've seen yet released. I'm holding the Endorphin Pro here, and this is really the tip of the spear for them. Their top line shoe, it's a $200 racer, carbon fiber plate, Pebax based foam, which is super lightweight and a lot of energy return. If you don't have quite the racing pedigree or you don't want to spend $200 on a pair of shoes, you get the $160 Speed, which is my favorite of the line. It uses a nylon plate instead of carbon fiber. That gives you a little extra flexibility and comfort there. So you get a lot of cushioning underfoot and a lot of rebound with every stride. For me, I don't think it feels any slower than the Pro. There are a few differences. When we get inside and cut this thing up and look inside, you're going to see a few of the changes. The third in the line is the Endorphin Shift. It's a $140 shoe and it's really more built for easy days. There's a lot of foam underfoot, but it's an EVA foam, so it's a cheaper material. This isn't really a racer. This is for your easy days, maybe some long runs if you want. It's gonna give you some comfort on the road though. We're gonna cut these open. We're gonna look at the differences of these 3 shoes and which one you might wanna lace up. Let's look inside and see what's happening here. I'm gonna grab the Pro and compare it with the Speed. You look at the difference here. The Pro on top is the one with the carbon fiber plate. You can see the bottom layer of foam really just turned black from that carbon fiber when the blade went through it. The bottom has the nylon plate. That's the Speed. That nylon didn't really have as much coming off with the blades. Regardless, you see the geometry is exactly the same for these 2 shoes. You still have the thicker piece of foam on top of the plate underneath your forefoot, and then the thicker piece of foam is below the plate for heel striking. That's what gives you that little bit of a softer landing, and you get the more energy response here without really feeling that plate under your foot so much. Again, as I said, with looking inside it now, that carbon fiber is really stiff. Even just half a shoe, trying to bend that it takes a lot of force, and there's not a lot of carbon fiber there. But if we look inside the Speed, it bends a whole lot easier, and you can see it flexing, fold there underneath. A lot of the magic that's happening in the shoe is coming from the energy return of the foam in both situations. The other difference in these shoes is the upper. As I said, the mesh is a little bit more traditional in the Speed, thinner here in the Pro. You can see that there's no padding in the tongue. It's just a really thin tongue, and there's no heel counter back here. You just have a little pocket that locks you in, very little padding here. And then if we look inside the Speed, it's a little bit thicker. There's a couple layers here. The tongue is a little bit more padded. The padding up here extends a little further down, and there is a little heel cup there, a little heel counter. So a little bit more traditional construction than you get from the entirely stripped down lightweight racer. Moving to the Shift, this was a cool shoe. As I said, it doesn't have a plate. It's all foam, all EVA foam too. This is gonna feel more like a traditional running shoe. It's softer, it's not gonna have that same lively pop. The one thing they did with this shoe is they put this piece of topsole here, and it just gives you a little extra comfort, a little extra energy return right directly under your foot. So you're gonna really enjoy that EVA foam, just get a nice soft ride under there. And it's really thick. You can heel strike, you can midfoot strike, and then under the forefoot, it's a little thinner, so you get a little bit of flexibility. There's not a lot of rubber underneath any of these shoes, and you can see as we cut through, this is probably the thickest patches, which is pretty traditional. But as we get into the other racers, it's really thin, and you want that. You don't want a lot of extra weight. You don't need a lot of durability from these shoes because they're not going to be used much beyond training in speed workouts and in race days. So this is the Endorphin collection, the 3 shoes. If you're the lightweight, go fast runner that is trying to shave every second, you're probably going to go for the Pro. Anybody that's a competitive runner is probably going to go for the Speed. And anybody who's really an elite kind of runner that's looking for a training shoe with a little bit more comfort is going to enjoy this Speed as well. And the Shift is just a daily trainer. Probably not going to lace this up for race day unless you kind of like that extra comfort and cushioning and don't mind the weight penalty you're going to pay with that. So that's the Endorphin collection. These 3 shoes are available now, and I want to know, have you run in them? Are you looking forward to trying them, lacing them up for races? Leave your questions or comments in the section below, and don't forget to hit subscribe so you don't miss anything from Runner's World.